contenders for Designer of the Year are John Galliano, who'll be showing in Paris, and Rifat Ozbek, who, like the superstar that he is, has preferred to make a video. But best set your video for 8 o'clock on Tuesday, if you can't be with us on BBC One, to see who wrests the crown from the kings of fashion, workers for freedom.
What's in the new Clothes Show magazine?
There's all the lowdown on the best from the high street.
Meet the cast of Fred dressed up for a night on the town.
You can win a designer car and drive away in a pair of jeans.
Jeff Banks has turned agony uncle, so there's a chance to solve your fashion problems.
Great coats, how to wrap up warm this winter.
Get a flat stomach in 15 days.
Run away with the best trainers on the market.
What I like is the free pair of stockings.
The BBC's Clothes Show magazine, out now.
Now on BBC One, Esther Ranson returns with a new series of stories about some folks with hearts of gold.
Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another series of Hearts of Gold, and welcome first of all to the lovely Michael Gross. Well, this evening we're going to discover another remarkable group of people who've been nominated for our special Heart of Gold Award for their kindness or courage.
And we'll show you what happened when we took out our hidden cameras to test the kindness of people in the street. And the Princess of Wales's brother, Viscount Althorp, turned up unexpectedly.
But first, would you dare to climb up a radio mast 160 feet high if it was swaying in the wind to save another man's life? Perhaps you would. But just suppose you suffered from vertigo. Could you conquer that overpowering fear of heights?
Well, the man who did just that is ambulance man Brian Thorne from Andover in Hampshire in September 1989. He's been nominated for a Heart of Gold for his courage by the man he saved, Tony Blunden. Of course, like all our subjects, Brian would never come near the studio if he knew we wanted to honour him. So instead, we've invited him here to take part in a programme we've just invented called Vertigo.
And to present that programme and plot with us, ladies and gentlemen, Maggie Philbin. Now, Maggie, you're about to interview a very remarkable man.
Yes, Brian Thorne. Now, I haven't had a chance to meet him yet, but I do know that he's just arrived at main reception here at Telly Centre for, of course, the Vertigo programme.
Hello, is it Brian? Yes. Hello, I'm Kate from the programme. Pleased to meet you. Hello, hi, pleased to meet you. Did you have a good journey?
Yes, thanks, yes.
Good, where have you come from? Have you come from far? Oh, right. By train or do you drive? Right. Okie
Not too badly.
Jolly good.
Twice went wrong with it?
Not
always get lost on Hammersmith Broadway and then the Shepherd's Bush. You go past a turn, you think, oh.
You can't see any signs, really. There's so many signs, other signs.
Yeah. This is your first time here, then, is
yes.
it? Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, well, we're running a little bit late, but if you'd like to come to your dressing room.
Oh.
All right. No, you come along too.
Well, it certainly looks as if he doesn't suspect anything yet.
No, not yet. And now I've got the awful task of lying to that poor man so that he doesn't suspect a thing and then go and do a runner on us.
Now, you've had a reputation for integrity, Maggie. You can manage this.
I dare say the lies will stick in my throat, but I'll work on it, I promise you.
Very good. Well, we wish you the best of luck. Ladies and gentlemen, Maggie Philbin.
And we're going to be doing a spot of eavesdropping on Maggie because we've got some special tiny cameras hidden all over the building to make sure we get Brian to our studio still unsuspecting. Now, we've also had our cameras out in the streets over the past few weeks to see just how kind the average person really is. Our Good Samaritan survey. Well, for our first test, we went to Kensington, outside the Top People's auction rooms, Bonhams. And there we planted a little old lady, a rather batty little old lady, who tried desperately to put her strangely fragile Georgian table in the back of her car. She needed help urgently because there was a pretty ferocious parking warden, played by Miss Ranson, waiting to pounce. Would we find hearts of gold or hearts of stone?
I'm just trying to find somebody to help me with this table. Put it in the boot of my car. Can you just come here a minute? Can you just measure it? Are you in a hurry? Can you measure it to see if it will... Oh, can you... Oh. Excuse me, are you in a hurry? I'm just trying to get this into the boot of my car. No, that doesn't... Look, I think if we get it into this space here... Do you think you can lift it up and put it in there?
Fast as you can, please. You're on a yellow line.
She's going to give me a park ticket in a minute. Are you all right? Oh! What's happened? One of the legs has fallen off. You know, this is Georgian. This is a Georgian table. Oh! Oh! There's two legs fallen off.
I must ask you, madam, to move a little faster.
So they can see what, you know.
But it's in a yellow line, and
She's given me a parking fine. I've already got 6, you know. It's my son's car, actually. Mine's gone in for a service because I bumped it. I collided with a milk float in Tunbridge Wells, and...
Look, madam, I really am going to have to ask you and your husband to move the car now.
My husband, please, do me a favour.
Are you not married?
You must be joking, dear. Oh my God, I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Thank you.
It just clicked who you are. Sorry. Where are your cameras? Oh my God.
Do you think it would fall out if I drive it off like that?
It won't fall out, but it won't come down. It just goes up again.
Would I be allowed to drive like that?
Drive like that.
But what about if I come to a low bridge?
Below there.
Excuse me, you can't drive like that. You can't drive with that vehicle in that condition, madam.
It's not illegal, like that.
Oh, absolutely.
It isn't.
It's an offence against the obstruction of wind flapping back rear vehicle. I'm sorry, sir. Do you try and tell me the law? Are you trying to tell me the law, sir? This lady has already overstayed her time on this yellow line.
Well, that sounds well, but you can drive your car on that as well.
I must ask you to restrain that piece of furniture properly and to bring the boot of that car lid down.
With her, she can't get any more than that. All right.
Sir, I must ask you to restrain that piece of furniture properly. This is an offence against the highway code.
It won't fall out, will it?
Well, if it will fall out, that will flap around and you won't be able to see the car. What?
What's that?
This is a traffic warden interview technique for passing saints and heroes who help old ladies in distress.
No, it's not. You two men. That was very good.
I went to the over 60s Keep Fit and I injured my back. Did you? Yes, and I've also I broke my kneecap. Oh dear. It doesn't go down, is it?
Well, it's really an offence to drive it round like that.
Let's try. Put it down and try. Can you just... I can't even reach it.
Oh, no, you're not going to...
That could be all right.
Oh, you've done well.
Have you got any string?
I haven't, no, not on me.
carried it. Look, we could carry it through the exhaust.
It might burn on...
Here.
This is a joke. Well, what a star. And we have plenty more to come. But as you see, we've now altered our set a little because we're about to become a gardening programme. That's because we had a letter about a gardener who is a terrific character. He spends every moment of his spare time helping his neighbours. And these are some of his neighbours, lightly disguised, as you see. He's nearly 80. His name is Bill Sparks. He comes from Ardley, near Colchester. And he's been nominated for his kindness and friendship by his neighbour, Jane Morgan.
We told Bill we were filming him for a gardening programme. Really, we wanted to find out from Jane why she'd nominated him for a Heart of Gold.
He's just such a wonderful person. He spends his life doing things for other people. And he's nearly 80, and at his age most people are relaxing and being looked after by other people. But he just looks to see what needs to be done, and he just gets on and quietly does it. Doesn't want any thanks for it. He's an amazing man. He's a real country person. There aren't many like him left.
All right, you should play back.
Oh.
It's lovely day after all, isn't it?
Why do you think he does all this?
He just likes people. He likes to help people. It's his life.
But she told us he'd never come near us if he thought he was going to get an award. So she suggested we could only lure him to the studio by inviting him to appear in a gardening panel game.
So we did. And here to present that programme, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Michael Barrett. Give me Michael. Thanks for helping us play this game. There's a bit of a little game of deceit here going on.
I'm not used to deceit, as you know, but...
Well, I believe you, I believe you. Now, you're an expert gardener, really, aren't you? Because you were
Well, so-called. I did 5 very happy years as Gardener's Question Time chairman, but I don't think I'm going to get much help from these scene men tonight, am I?
You're not, because they're all Bill's friends, you see.
Nor, indeed, if they might mind me calling them... The vegetables.
They're vegetables hiding in the corner.
Spring vegetables, I'm sure. Anyway, I need some other help, too.
Would you like to pick somebody?
I think I better go into the audience, if I can. Because what I desperately need for this is somebody who knows nothing about gardening. Somebody who really is. Somebody in this room. Who's the most ignorant person in this room, do you think? This gentleman here, come on. Do you know anything about gardening? Yeah. You do? No, you don't. Come on, let's have you out. Come on then. Round here. Now let me tell you that as far as tonight's concerned, you are very, very ignorant. If you answer my question correctly, I'm in deep trouble. Come on, round the back.
Right, veggie hostesses. Now, I think they are turned round. OK, so we won't see them. I think the scene shifters should also make themselves scarce, don't you? And you and I have got to make ourselves scarce too.
Right, and can we just remind the studio audience that you're here because you're all terrific gardeners. Forget Hearts of Gold. We're all about to take part in a panel game called Tilt Your Turnips.
Bill Sparks, hello, how do you do? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
It's kind of you to come on the show. I think you're going to enjoy it. I mean, questions aren't... Have you? Well, the questions aren't too difficult, so we'll just hang on a minute. Just, there's an audience there and all that sort of thing. But you're going to enjoy this.
Right, thank you.
Well, hang on for a moment, because he'll probably understand. Any second now, I think.
OK, would you like to come round onto the side?
Right, there we go. Come on then, Bill. Can I just squash vegetable there and get it? Sit yourself down there, Bill. That's great. Say good evening to our audience here.
Right,
and I think we'll be on the air in just a second.
Right, here we go. Run title.
And good evening and welcome to our new gardening quiz show that puts the manure back on the roses. Let's meet our 2 contestants here. First, on the far left there, Mr. Russell Sprout, and from Ardley near Colchester, Mr. Bill Sparks. Go on, give him a big you. I want to put the first question to you, Russell, if I could. Listen carefully. If your yucca flaccida gets a bad dose of wilt, would you treat it with halitosis enteritis?
No.
Sorry, you're wrong about that one. Bill, it's your turn now, and I'm going to ask you to look over here, Bill, because we've got some silhouettes for you. A fun one, this, on that screen there. First, what is this vegetable? Bill, make a guess.
Not a carrot.
Well, no, it isn't. It isn't a carrot. You might have thought so. So will the vegetable now reveal itself?
Very nice. Didn't take it for you, will you?
Come and join me.
How are you?
All right, thank you. Good. Now, if you hadn't already guessed with the arrival of this lot here, it's not Tilt Your Turnip tonight.
Oh.
In fact, this is the Heart of Gold studio.
Oh, yes.
And I think it's about time that these two big vegetables here turned round and made themselves known. I think you know those two people, don't you?
Oh, yes. Well, I'm blown.
Now, you are here because all your friends here nominated you for a Heart of Gold.
Oh, yes.
And if you want to know why, just look over here.
It's quite normal for a gardener to cultivate luscious fruit and flowers, but Bill cultivates his friendships too, so they blossom and give enormous pleasure to the villagers. Not only does he give them his first strawberries and huge bunches of their favourite flowers, but he'll deliver newspapers, give neighbours a lift to the doctors, visit them in hospital, provide flowers for the church, even cabbage for the local rabbits.
Here we are. That's the end of us. Yeah.
75-year-old Frank Sparrow really looks forward to Bill's visits.
I value his friendship a lot. A great, great deal. I mean, he comes over, gives me a look about once a fortnight. Never comes without bringing something. Always.
What will he bring?
Well, strawberries. Lovely.
If a bride needs a bouquet, she only has to ask Bill. No wonder he has fans like Iris Morgan.
It's the same with all the old ladies. I always say, whatever would we do without Bill Sparks? And always so cheerful. Nothing seems to bother him. As I say, I don't believe he's ever lost his temper. He never swears.
Have you a message for him?
What can you say, except thank you, Bill, for all you do for everybody, and what would we do without you?
What did you think?
Very nice.
Were you surprised?
I was.
You weren't suspicious at all? Then?
No.
Really?
I dreamt all this was going on.
All these lies going on everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, your friends tell us that the place that you supply your delicious vegetables to is the Dedham Vale Hotel,
That's
isn't
right.
it? It's very posh. Have you ever eaten there?
No.
Why not?
Well, I don't know. I like my own food best.
Well, like it or not, you might have a slap-up meal there. They are inviting you and 9 of your friends for a slap-up meal to celebrate maybe your birthday. When's your birthday?
19th of January.
19th of January. And how old will you be?
80.
80 years old. Well, how about going out for a special meal then?
Thank you very much.
Okay, well done.
Well, we'd all like to congratulate you,
Thank
Bill, on your kindness and on looking 60 and being 80.
Good, thank you.
What do you think, Michael? What do you think?
Well, I mean, like so many gardeners, he's a lovely fella. I tell you, my daughter Jessica at home, she'd have tears in her eyes when she saw you feeding the rabbit.
Oh, yeah, that was a thrill, that was, to do that. Yeah.
That's typical kindness. Said everything, I think.
Whenever I see any leaves hanging about up the greengrocers, I'd always colour them and bring them along for the rabbits.
I thought gardeners didn't like rabbits because they eat.
These are tame rabbits. They're
I you know the difference.
Yeah, yep.
Well, it just remains for Jane here to give you your Heart of Gold award, Jane.
Well, I'd love to, but I haven't any hands.
That is true. It's a little difficult. All right, I'll do it for you, Jane. Your Heart of Gold, and it's 24 carat.
Thank you very much.
how Maggie Philbin's getting on with our hero ambulance man, Brian Thorne.
I'm trying to think what's in today.
You remember Brian overcame his own fear of heights to climb this radio mast and save the life of Tony Blunden. Brian's in his dressing room now in Television Centre with Maggie, preparing, he thinks, for a programme about vertigo.
Yeah, well, it's quite interesting, you know. I mean, what was your first impression? Most people think it looks just like a factory.
I've nothing really. I came in through one door. Oh, come this way, please. And we kept on pushing doors open, pushing doors open. And we came into here, and that's what I've seen. I've seen the car park. And here, look.
Oh, right. Well, it's an interesting room, though, isn't it?
Very well. There were two chairs when we came in, but one got taken away because it was broken.
I tell you, this is one of the star dressing rooms, you know, this one, because it's got, you know, like a window.
Oh.
That's the key. They really do base it on it. If you're a star, you get a window, right? Other people might get a room without a window, and when you don't have a dressing room with a bathroom, then you're into deep trouble.
You're one that's not going to come back again.
Yeah, no, that's the way the BBC works.
Oh dear.
Oh, and there's just one thing that we always ask. Is there anything that you're worried about, you know, when the programme actually goes out?
The only thing I had reservation about initially, but Lucy, whatever, said it would be no problem, was Tony himself. You know, I didn't suddenly want to see himself on television. Oh my, that was me.
Mm.
So I don't know whether a contact would be made with him prior to whatever had been shown.
Oh, yes,
because it would be a bit of a fright to put their four pals saying, oh, you know, that's me coming down on
Yeah,
that.
it's a good point. I'll make a note of that, actually. Just to tell, certainly.
Yeah, that could be done. As I say, 'cause I wouldn't like a fellow to suddenly see himself, or his wife to see him, well, this is what happened to him, and look how lucky you are, and things like that. And it'd be a bit off, wouldn't it?
Well, it's one thing about Tony's wife, but what about your wife? Doesn't she worry about you with your job?
Probably, but she's used to, you know, it's one of those things, isn't it? You don't know what you're going to do literally from one minute to the next. She just thinks, well, you better look after yourself. Use double the insurance.
she got you money.
Well, obviously he doesn't suspect what we're up to, and we're nearly ready for him here. But we aren't quite, because our next award is for a football referee, quite an unusual one. She's also a policewoman, and she's created a brownie pack, the second Dovecoats, is that right?
Yeah.
Who are here tonight, as you can see, because it's the brownies themselves who have nominated Susan Elder from Cannock for being the best brown owl ever. We're going to hear a bit more about her in a minute, but she's just about to come into this studio. She thinks she's just going to sit in the audience, which is why I'm trying to dress as audience. Do I look like audience to you? No. Well, thank you. Anyway, she's not at all sure what this show is, but there are lots of friends of hers here, and we don't want her to see them yet. So I wonder if we could just dim the lights, please. Could we? Right, now, if everybody could just sort of mutter quietly like a contented audience. Could you sort of just mutter?
You're right. Let's go now. If you can just sit yourself down there, please. That'd be lovely. Great. Shh, very quiet.
You don't see anyone you know?
No.
And if you look over here, I think you'll see even more members of your football team,
Yeah,
members of your
see them.
family and friends. Well, if you want to know why that is, I'm afraid it's because you've been nominated as a Heart of Gold. And you're quite right, it is her fault. But we have some pictures that may explain why. Have a look there. That's not like one of your brands, isn't it? You in action. And they say that you raise money if they can't afford uniforms, and you buy them Christmas presents, and you steal their sweets at camp.
Yeah,
All
that's right,
three.
yes,
Very
yeah.
good. Jennifer McKinnon drew us you in your best dress. That's you. I like the green shoes. That's,
yeah.
That's what you wear as a football referee. You always wear your policeman's hat?
Not quite, but sometimes I need it.
You take them on trips, you organise fetes and picnics, but the moment they all seem to remember most vividly is this. Now, Jenny. Jenny, Brown all says Jenny. Can you explain to us what's happening in that picture?
we was trying to do a handstand, and we said we're too old, and she said, I'm not too old, and she did it, and you could see her flowery frilly knickers.
And your flowery frilly underwear seems to impress itself so strongly. Look, there's another one. Very flowery. There's plenty of them. And I think there's some other things that make you special. What else makes her special?
Well, she takes us to the shops and she buys us lollipops.
Lollipops? What else makes her special?
She helps me with my maths, and when I don't have anybody to turn to and I can't tell my mum, I can turn to her.
This is all very nice. Anything else make her special?
When I was first a brownie, she brought me a free uniform, and she gives me free lifts when I go home if my mum doesn't come for me.
This is all lovely, isn't it? There's a sir behind me. No, you're not a brownie, are you?
No.
What are you?
I'm a football player.
And how is she as a ref?
Oh, she's a very good referee. She's not one-sided, she's very fair.
Impartial?
Yes.
Well, what do you think about all that?
I think it's great. I'm going to kill him when I get home.
I hope you weren't expecting to watch a quite different programme, were you?
I was, yes.
What were you expecting?
Well, I was told to bring all my uniforms down because it was something to do with community, policing in the community. And I was quite expecting to stand here in my uniform and just answer questions.
Well, they've been answering questions. The questions they've answered is why you're such a special brown owl. And I think, Jenny, you've got the award, have you?
Thank you.
Meanwhile, back on the pavement outside Bonham's, while our batty old lady is still looking for help, who should come along but the Princess of Wales' brother, Charles, Viscount Althorp.
Excuse me, can you help me? Excuse me. Excuse me, are you in a hurry? I wonder if you could help me and just try. Well, if I could, I'm on a yellow plane, not really supposed to be parked here. If you could help me put it into the boot of the car, would you mind?
Okay, that's fine.
Be careful.
I don't think it'll go in either.
Well, I think we should give it a try. You're all right.
I'm fine.
Well,
I don't see how that's going to go in, frankly.
you see, I just had it valued, and
Right.
I was quite surprised. It's quite valuable, actually. It's Georgian. So, you know, it's very kind.
I don't know. How did you get it down here, then?
Well, I didn't Oh! Should we just inch it in a little bit?
I don't think it will, I'm afraid. I don't want it to be damaged at all, because you say it's worth something. So I think we'll wait here until someone else comes and they can help the other
I was
end.
quite surprised. You know, it's been valued at 1,500. Does that surprise you?
I don't know anything about furniture, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's Georgian. You see, it belonged to my mother.
Right.
And it belonged, and she gave it to me, and it was her grandmother's, so it's quite old, you know. And I want to.
I don't think it's going to go in,
thank you
but
so
that may...
much.
We might be able to take it round. All right. I don't know. It's not going to
Oh my! How did that happen?
I don't know. It just dropped off, doesn't it?
Oh.
I don't think it's damaged. I think it's just...
No, but the legs come off.
It's obviously come off
Oh,
the
did he
floor,
eat
look.
it? What did he do now?
Nothing serious.
What are you doing with the stool?
That'll get in easier. If you want to get this in, this will get in easier. This is out, I think.
Right.
I don't believe this. I see now, I got it. I knew it was something like this.
Very kind.
This one was a hard go, was it?
I didn't know it was you, actually.
I thought you looked too glamorous for a traffic warden.
Ah! Hasn't he been lovely?
Very good acting, though, the Tunbridge Wells bit. I enjoyed that.
Thank you very, very
Not at all.
much.
Not at all. Oh, dear, I've been had.
Well, Viscount trotted in Japan working right now, so we'll make sure we get his certificate to him. But sitting next to me now is Dawn Blunden. Now, Dawn, you and your husband sent us our next nomination, ambulance man Brian Thorne. Why?
Well, it's a privilege for me tonight to have the opportunity to nominate Brian for this award. It's the perfect opportunity for me to actually say thank you in person for not only saving Tony's life, but from preventing the injuries from being any more severe than what they already were.
Well, here next to me is Brian's wife, Pamela, and your children. Now, tell me, Thorne family, has he any suspicion that what's going to happen is going to happen?
None at all. No, he's coming to do another programme as far as he's concerned.
And will he ever forgive you?
Probably not.
But you're going to risk that?
Yeah.
Right, well, I can see that Brian and Maggie are just coming out of the dressing room now. Is this a moment you've been looking forward to, Dawn?
A long time.
What kind of qualities do you think he has?
Well, I think he must have, you know, many qualities, but the one on the top of the list tonight has got to be bravery. For rescuing Tony in spite of his own fears.
You must have thought about that moment a long time between you.
Yes, a long time.
What would have happened, do you think, if he hadn't acted so fast?
Well, without a doubt, things would have been far worse than what they were if it hadn't been for Brian's bravery.
Well, it's one thing to have the courage to save a life. It's another to have all this sprung on him. But I'm sure that he'll consider it a worthy tribute. I don't know if you heard him say, but he was a little concerned about your reactions to the programme he thinks he's making.
No, he didn't either.
He said he was worried that when you saw how high the mast was and how desperate it could have been, you might be upset.
Yeah, most certainly.
Beautiful reception area, wonderful design.
Oh, yes, yes, yeah.
No time, I don't think, to sit down and put in the restaurant.
Hello.
Now,
Sitting over here.
so you'd like to plant yourself just there. No water in our tumbler, look.
Right, well, brilliant. Right. Okay, right, stand by, studio. And...
Good luck.
Okay.
Cue Maggie.
Good evening. Well, in tonight's programme, Vertigo, I'm going to be chatting to a man called Brian Thorne, who one afternoon last September had to overcome his fear of heights. And it really was a life and death situation. High on a radio mast in Andover in Hampshire, a rigger, Tony Blunden, was working. A piece of the rigging above him dislodged itself and fell, smashing his skull and face and seriously damaging his eye. He fell onto a platform, which was still 120 feet up in the air. Horrified, his colleagues on the ground ran for an ambulance. Brian was the driver who took that call. Now, when you first arrived on the scene there and you saw the mast, what was your initial feeling?
Initially, I thought it wasn't so high. I spoke to the foreman who met us at the site, and I said to him on the way we walked towards the thing, how high is it? And he mentioned the number 50. And as I looked at it, and I thought, well, 50, yes, I can just about paint the windows up and upstairs and home. And 50's only double that and a little bit more.
Now, can you just tell us, what did it feel like when you started to climb that mast?
When I started to climb, I felt okay, because the foreman was going to follow me up. He told me I'd follow me up. And I was getting some encouragement from Mr. Blunden's colleague from the top. And I started, as I say, started to climb, and I'd done about, it seemed like 20 feet or so, and I was looking down across the valley, and it suddenly struck me that this 50 that I'd heard mentioned previously wasn't in fact feet, it was meters. I stopped, and I said to the foreman, look, I'm sorry, but I don't think we can do this. And there were strong words of encouragement from both top and bottom. So we set off again. And what seemed like ages, I went a bit further, and I locked onto the ladder then. I had my arms around it, and the knees were knocking. And I thought I might have shaken the man off. I was shaking so much. But this shaking, in actual fact, knocked the helmet I was wearing, and it dropped the peak below my eye level, and I couldn't see down the valley, which was quite a help. And so I thought, well, would try again. We went a bit further, my arms and my legs were getting heavier and heavier, and I thought, well, I've got to go down now, I can't go any further. And if I jump off now, I won't get half so hurt or injured as I will when I get to the top if I was to fall. And as I say, it was all I could do to let go again, and I was so heavy with his arms and legs. So from there on, I closed my eyes and went up, basically with my eyes shut, and came through the hole of the platform where Tony was lying. And then it necessitated stepping off onto this meshed platform and crawling out to where he lay. And that was looking down through it. The mesh was, I could liken it to an old shoe scraper, you know, outside the doors. And it was that sort of metal, and you looked down to the people below. And we crawled out and made contact with him, and the injuries were quite severe. And his colleague Gary, who was there, excellent fellow, gave me a lot of support. This was the chap who was supporting me, encouraged me from the top. And I treated his injuries. And then it necessitated getting him down. And we achieved this by another crew coming out from base with what we term a Paragard stretcher. And with the help of the fire brigade who arrived by this time and climbed and kept me company. As a team, we put Tony in there, and it was a long, long 10 minutes as we lowered him completely the wrong way, really. We lowered him vertically because he was vomiting all the time. But it was the only way. We couldn't take him over the edge because of the construction as such. And Gary then went down with him, keeping him in contact with him, keeping the conscious level going as far as we can to the bottom.
And how about you? Did you overcome your fear of heights?
No, by this time the adrenaline, which I'd had a shot of by looking up this ladder and realising it was 150, not 50, that certainly put the adrenaline in. I think I'd run out of it by this time. We'd been up there some little while. And I was stuck. So the fire station officer, nice fella, because he rescued me. I couldn't get down. They brought up a long rope, and he belayed me down like I was going down a mountain. Yes.
That's amazing. Well, I mean, as a result of your tremendous courage, you saved that man's life. I mean, you did the right thing at the right time. And I know that you haven't had a chance to actually go and see Tony since the accident, but we have gone along to meet him. And he says that though he doesn't remember a thing about what happened that day, he certainly understands the courage that it took for you to overcome your fear of heights and to climb up that mast.
I've met quite a few people frightened of heights, and I've also had men working with me who've they've lost their nerve when they're climbing, and they just grip hold of the steel and you can't move them, so you've got to tie them on and then release them and send them down afterwards, and then they probably can't climb again, and they've just lost their nerve of heights.
And it must take an enormous amount of courage to conquer that fear.
It does take an enormous amount of courage, even if somebody can try and overcome their fear of heights, which is very difficult, then it's a great deal of courage to do it.
So Brian must be quite a remarkable person.
I think Brian's a wonderful person for what he's done. Even climbing up there and then knowing that he would have to treat me after getting up, and the steel would be shaking with the wind blowing, because I was told it was a windy day. It was only a three-legged structure, so it would be swaying a bit more. The ladder, I don't think, was fixed permanently. It was fixed but not permanently, so the ladder would be moving. And then when he eventually got to the platform that I was on, he would have to either crawl across the platform or tie a rope and walk across, and it was not looking at something solid. He would be looking down at the base of the base of the mast.
Have you ever met Brian?
I've never met Brian. I've only seen a picture of Brian in the paper, and all I've done is spoken to him on the phone, so I don't know what he's like, or, you know, to come face to face to.
But you'd like to discover?
I would like to discover, yes, yeah. I think it'd be a wonderful feeling.
Brian Thorne, please join us.
You rotten thing. Well, when I heard your voice there, I thought, well, someone else is on the interview as well, so is he here?
Is he here? Well, you can see one or two people at it. Thank you, Maggie, very much indeed for your part in our conspiracy.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Brian, you can see one or two other people over there, your
There's the man
sons,
that
your
rescued me.
daughter.
Yeah.
Yes. In the audience, we have the ambulance and the fire brigade, your colleagues in the ambulance and the fire brigade that rescued you. All your family here, who must have lied to you a bit, did they?
I didn't have a clue.
You didn't have a clue. Now, when you were in the dressing room,
Yes.
we have ways of knowing that you were a little bit worried about the effect of the programme you were going to make on Dawn Blunden. You thought she might be a bit distressed, didn't you?
I did. Yes, I must admit that. I didn't want her to be upset to see her husband coming down the way he came down that tower.
Yes. Would you like to ask her if she is upset? Because it's her fault you're here. Brian, meet Dawn Blunden.
Oh, it's a pleasure, madame. I'm glad we got him. How is he?
He's fine.
He's good.
Thank you.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Good. When I saw his picture there, I thought, well,
Yeah.
he looks good.
Dawn, is this
Thank you.
an important moment for you?
Sure. Yeah. There's lots I would like to say, but at the moment all I can say is thank you.
It's nice to know it worked out all right, isn't it?
Thanks to you guys.
Now, there is a little bit more, Brian, if you'd like to join me here for a second, because your wife Pamela and your family say that you've always longed to try your hand as a rally driver. Is that so?
If someone's brave enough to put me in there.
Well, when we told Silverstone about your courage, they decided they were brave enough, and here is a picture of what you're going to be. You're going to be their guest for a day on the Silverstone Rally course. So, please don't hurt yourself.
I'll try not to.
You're going to drive carefully, are you?
I'll keep down low.
There is one other thing that we have to give you, which is your Heart of Gold Award, you know. But Dawn's not going to give you that, and I'm not going to give you that. The man you haven't met since that accident is here today to present it to you. Go and meet him, Tony Blunden.
Well done.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I haven't been in touch with you before, mate.
Yeah, so we knew what was happening, so we couldn't get in touch with you.
No.
So I thought we did.
It's nice to see him standing up.
Lying down.
Oh, better than lying down.
Now, Tony, when Brian came round, when he came off the revolver and he saw me, you know the first thing he said? He said, "Is he here?" Now, why did you want to see him so much, Brian?
He looks so well on the on the television.
Yes.
You know, and he looks. I was just saying to him, he looks different standing up, and he looks so well. And I honestly didn't think, Tony, that after that injury which I saw with you, man, that you would be walking around.
Well, you've got a lot to congratulate yourself for, because without your skill, without your quickness of action, without your courage, I don't think Tony would be standing here.
But that's what we're here for, isn't it? Yeah. Really? You know, an ambulance person is going to come along to anybody who's like that. You know?
Now, Tony, you have a little award for Brian. Would you like to tell him what this expresses from your point of view?
This is presentation, the Golden Hearts Award for what you've done. I think you've done very well.
They're all dying to meet you. Come and meet them now, Brian.
A year ago, almost a day. Thank you.
More Hearts of Gold next week. Until then, good night.
BBC1 presents a new series for the daytime, an exciting 4-hour magazine that combines your news and views with all the famous faces, the latest in video releases, children's programmes, the news of the day, and an exciting new quiz game. There'll be lots of your happy memories, new recipes, and lively debate from all over the country. With Alan Titchmarsh and Judy Spires in Birmingham, Adrian Mills and Debbie Jones in Manchester, we'll be coast to coast every weekday morning in Daytime UK.
And we have a new series now on One. Carol Vorderman looks at some of the problems people can have with maths and how to solve them. Some chance.